Well, today's talk is about children. So again, I spent the entire day, in fact, the entire week with my son here in Bulgaria. And I'm telling you about the importance of children. Children are something very important. In my own case, I didn't quite realize the importance of children until I got married, settled, and had a child. Then you can really see it's an important part of your life. And I could not fully duplicate that until I left the organization and had my own children. Now, in the church, the parents are routinely told that no, they cannot obey, they're not allowed to have the rights given to parents, which is to spend time with their children. In fact, when the order came to no longer have children, the executive directive written by Messenger said, and I quote, pregnancies should be treated as unauthorized expenses. So in other words, these children there, they're unauthorized children. So that's the view of the church on that. Now, children are viewed as DevT, which is developed traffic, meaning consuming resources and not producing any. Because you see, children don't start to produce until they're 14 or so, at least in a Sea Org sense. Therefore, they are a waste of resources earlier, because the church feels that it has no obligation to contribute, that they should be contributed to, and they have no obligation to contribute. They don't even feel they're morally obliged to provide the necessities of life to either children or adults under their care. Now, the problem with children is described in many issues, some highly confidential. And I remember when I was part of the Flag Bureau in 1976 as MIMI operator, I ran this highly controversial and confidential issue that was a multi-situation evaluation by L. Ron Hubbard about the complex at Cedars and the PAC area. And one of the main situations he found was about the nursery. And he basically pointed out the fact that the church was not willing to give resources that it should according to law and common sense to children. So children were simply left unattended, uncared, in dangerous environment. All sort of violations of the law. And of course, the church would always be warned when there's an inspection, and then just make up for show that they had a bunch of extra nannies just so that they can pass inspection, and of course those nannies would disappear as soon as the inspectors would leave. And they have no concern that children are actually becoming the equivalent of hoodlums within the Scientology community. They follow the rules. They're, of course, the ideal brainwashed people. Eventually, some of them leave and become quite despondent. The other thing is, I was shocked to see 5 and 6 years old at the Flag Nursery, because I've been there a few times. Once I dated a girl that worked at the nursery, and you could hear these 5 and 6 years old using the F word and using all these 4-letter words that most decent adults don't even say. And these 5 and 6 years old, of course, they repeat what they hear all day. Their parents or the people around them. The problem in the church is that they're never willing to spend any money on anything but send it to their coffers. So if staff need money, they don't pay it. If they have to do a refund, do they take money back to the Sea Org reserve where 3/4 of the money went? Of course not. They take it out of staff pay, and if there's not enough taken, then of course they take it out of staff food, and of course staff berthing and staff whatever. It is a well-known fact that registrars are trained to lie to people. It's very simple. Anything the person asks, yes, we can provide. Any objection they have, oh, it's allowed. Any doubts, of course we can do it. So therefore they invite people with children to join the CR, even though their children may not want to join the CR, but of course, if they're minors, they have to join. That's the law. Here's another example. This woman from Mexico. She has a 12-year-old daughter suffering from polio who has no training in Scientology. Now, how could that girl be anything but a possible burden on the organization? Oh no, we'll use it. She can be an auditor, an FES or whatever. The girl doesn't even read English because she's from Mexico. She has no training. And she's physically handicapped, meaning she would have even trouble with her polio to even hold a course back. In fact, the Church of Scientology is a perversion of what JFK said, ask not what we can do for you, ask what you can do for our country. Well, they say, don't ask what we can do for you because we'll do nothing, we'll do squat, but ask what you can do for us because not only it's you can, it's you must do for us, which is give all your money, give all of your assets, and then join staff. And when you're destitute, penniless, broke and sick, we'll let you go. I'm finishing by telling a story written by Johann Wolfgang Goethe. Now, Goethe is probably the greatest name in German literature. He was a true genius. He was not only a writer, he was a pictorial artist, he was a mathematician and a physicist. And he wrote this fascinating story which reflects exactly the views of the church today. So this is a house where I live, a grandfather, a father, and a grandson. The father runs the house, and one day he's fed up with the old man, so he decides to kick him out. So the old man, whimpering, says, well, at least give me a blanket. It's cold out there. I've got nowhere to go, nothing to do. And the father, in his cruelty and stone heart, says to his son, okay, go downstairs in the basement, fetch the dirtiest, oldest blanket you can find and bring it for your grandpa. So that son does that and comes back a few minutes later. The guy looks at what his son brought and says, it's only half a blanket. And the young boy says, I know. I kept the other one when it's your turn. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoy and learn something from what I said today. Thank you very much.